So here's the first video of the 300ZX. This is right where we parked it, where it's sat for about 4 years now, I'm pretty sure. And here's the interior. It's really up to date, very clean, not that worn in.
Just a little dusty is all.
Here's our ant pile.
We removed the
So we always wanted to do
quick,
a drift build with
so you get
this
the carpet
because
out.
it has a chassis that's close to a FCRX7, and also we're pretty sure that S13 parts like angle kits and coilovers will work on this, so we should be able to have a pretty good drift setup.
Yep.
Alright, we got the engine pulled in the 300, bumpers off, the hood is off, because yeah, this wouldn't come out without taking the hood off. We cannot believe that this jack hoisted it all the way this high to clear this, and it's on ramps. Like, that's impressive. We are going to give this jack away because it's kind of stubby, but it's holding its value for sure.
I didn't know it extend. I mean, as you can see, we've never actually extended it that far.
Yeah, it's quite clean down there. But didn't we get it from like Harbor Freight or something like that?
Very cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
It's literally good.
But it works like a charm. So.
Alright, so I'm going to explain to you guys how we actually came to have this 300ZX. When I was in college at our local community college, I worked for the pool there as a lifeguard. And there was a guy that I worked with, an older man named Vern, and he had told me how he was into cars and he had had several Z cars throughout the years, and I obviously thought that was interesting, and I'd talked to him about it for a while. And one day he was telling me about how he wanted to buy a new motorcycle, and he had a car in his garage that was one of his other older Z cars that he didn't want anymore, and it was taking up space in his motorcycle, or where he wanted to put his motorcycle. And so he eventually originally he told me he wanted to sell it. And I told him I really wouldn't want to give him a whole lot of money because I didn't want to take on another project. And one day he walked up to me and just said, "Will you just take it off my hands?" Because he was about to buy the motorcycle. And so I was like, I mean, if you're just gonna, give it to us, of course we'll take it off your hands. And so we went over and grabbed it, and boy, was it it was nice and kind of crappy at the same time, because it had a lot of the stock stuff still there, so it hadn't been messed with as far as modified a lot, but it was, the condition was not the best. So me and Tanner, toyed around with a bunch of different ideas, and that's how we kind of came on the idea of a drift car. Not only does it have a decent suspension setup for that and stuff, and a chassis, it's already not super clean, so we're not super worried about kind of denting it and stuff for drifting. And we kind of promised Vern that once we got it finished and everything, we'd show it to him and we'd take him for a ride in it. And we want to take him to the first drift event that we bring it to.
Alright, so we just started stripping all the wires off the engine. Over there, there's the spaghetti mound. We took off the alternator bracket and power steering pump, all that stuff, and we're about to degrease it because she's a little dirty, but yeah, not too bad. We're also gonna install the baffle for the oil pan, put the new oil pan on, and just get everything cleaned up and ready for the install. We got the engine mounts in the truck. We got to see if those will work, but we're getting there. So we're trying to be as smart as possible, and save money where it needs to be saved, but not where it shouldn't, So we spent $250 on the LS, and supposedly it did run and drive. It did get struck by lightning. So the ECU will not be used, but luckily we did sell the perfectly running VG30 to some people that are putting it into another Z31. So it's going to its original home, just not ours. So yesterday we kind of started cleaning the engine. I just wanted to do a before and after video. So my plan is we were going to take the intake off and just cover the holes with duct tape, but we also need to clean the intake, obviously, and since I'm using a pressure washer, I don't feel like pressure washing near the duct tape on the actual intake, like right on the intake manifold. I'd rather it be up higher on the throttle body. So I'm going to tape the throttle body, make sure that's sealed off, and then obviously it's somewhat closed, and then I'll spray everything down, get it all looking nice and clean.
Alright, so this project is called Project Re-Entry. The reason that we're calling it that is because when we got the car from Vern, the paint job's kind of faded, and he said that all of his friends, when it first started doing that, called it his re-entry paint job, like when like a satellite or something is re-entering the atmosphere. So we thought that was kind of cool. It kind of fits to the drift theme, so we're going to keep it. Also, as Tanner said, we spent $250 on the LS, which a lot of people would say, why would you spend $250 on an engine that you're going to beat the crap out of? Well, LSs in general are pretty stout engines, and even a $250 one, that as long as it's been, semi taken care of, not even that good really, for its lifespan, can handle a lot of abuse. But one of the problems with drifting is, the oil sloshes around the oil pan. And so you can get oil baffles, but what really solves that issue is an AccuSump. sump. So we're going to be installing an AccuSump. sump. We're also going to be installing a rocker arm upgrade kit and probably new valve springs. All that's just to make the engine last a little bit longer under high RPM and high stress. But we aren't going to be doing a cam on it yet. We probably will if we build an engine again, but that's kind of sort of our plan to keep the engine alive and running the whole time we're driving it.
Alright. So, I need to get more in those crevices right here, kinda. I'm gonna pour more degreaser here in a second, but it's quite better. Still need more of that.